Carlos Boozer was a tough 6'9", 260-pound NBA player that was a force to be reckoned with. But he also was a scam artist. Well, not really. For those of you who don't recognize his name, Boozer was born on a military base in West Germany, but his family soon moved to Alaska where he grew up, being one of the only couple of NBA players to ever come from the state. After having a dominant high school career getting recognized as a McDonald's All-American, Boozer committed to Duke University, being a dominant player helping the Blue Devils win the NCAA championship in 2001. Boozer then played another year in college before declaring for the draft and getting selected as the 35th overall pick in the 2002 draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers. In his rookie season, scoring 10 points and grabbing 7.5 rebounds per game, Boozer made his way to the all-rookie team. In his second year, he then averaged an impressive 15 points and 11 rebounds per game, and he was showing all the teams that passed up on him in the draft that they should have taken him sooner. Being picked 35th overall certainly isn't bad, but when looking at the 2002 draft class, it seems like Boozer ended up being probably the third best player that year. The lower a player goes in the draft is not just a sign of the expectations that teams have for that player. It's also a factor in determining how much money a player will receive. Usually rookie contracts are pretty small. Boozer averaged $450,000 his first 2 seasons in the league. In his second year, averaging a double-double with points and rebounds, he was the second best player on the team besides the rookie LeBron James. This means that even though Boozer improved in his stats and got a double-double in his second year, he was still making $450,000. In his third NBA season, after he just averaged a double-double and being the second best player on the Cleveland Cavaliers besides the rookie LeBron James, he was signed up to make $700,000. $700,000 is great money, but even back in the early 2000s, Boozer should have been getting probably close to $10 million a year with those numbers, especially considering that the Cavaliers were going to get a lot better as both Boozer and LeBron James were very young. I think the Cavaliers team management also sensed the potential of their young team on the rise, and because of this, they thought it would be a good idea to make a new deal with Boozer by getting rid of his $700,000 contract for his third season and lock him into a multi-year deal. So the Cavaliers offered him a 6-year, $39 million contract, to which Boozer said that he would sign. Now looking at this contract, it looks like the Cavaliers were actually getting the better deal. Boozer was shaping up to be an all-star level talent, and getting him for under $7 million a year seemed like a steal at the time because if Boozer improved his stats in his third season and performed better, then when his initial contract expired, he would be in for a very large payday that could see him getting way more than $7 million per year. From Boozer's side, I guess he was accepting the contract because $39 million is definitely a good amount of money, and the contract would provide security for his next 6 years of play. Also, maybe Boozer said initially that he would accept the contract because he didn't know how much other teams in the NBA would be willing to pay him. But soon he found out. You see, it was understood between the Cavaliers management and Carlos Boozer that he would sign some papers and get out of his $700,000 deal. Then he would sign the new $39 million contract. However, instead of doing that, Boozer had some other ideas, as it seemed like a better opportunity popped up last minute. So after getting out of the $700,000 contract, Boozer pulled a fast one and ended up signing with the Utah Jazz for a 6-year, $70 million deal. This was a massive loss for the Cavaliers, as they just lost their second best player that would have eventually helped them make some deep playoff runs. And instead of getting a steal for a future all-star player, Boozer went back on his word and signed the bigger contract with the Utah Jazz and left the Cavaliers empty-handed. But can you really blame him for signing with the Jazz to get an extra $30 million, nearly doubling his contract? The Cavaliers were certainly upset, And LeBron then had to lead a terrible team with pretty bad teammates for the remainder of his first stint in Cleveland. Honestly, if Boozer stayed with the Cavs, then they maybe could have won a championship. Considering LeBron didn't have the best teammates, and Boozer ended up being a multiple time All Star, averaging double double seasons with over 20 points, the Cavaliers really messed up on this one. At the time, LeBron understood the massive loss it was to lose Boozer. However, he took it rather well. He said, "It's a hell of a blow. Anybody knows that. My feeling was that Booze was going to be around, but when he called me, I told him he's got to do what's best for his family." In response to media critics, Boozer said, "There was no commitment, no handshake. I'm a man of my word, and the only commitment I gave was to Utah, and I kept that commitment." Over those next few years, the LeBron led Cleveland Cavaliers ended up making some deep playoff runs, and they even made an NBA Finals appearance, but they lost in a pretty bad fashion to the San Antonio Spurs. So we can only wonder what would have happened if Boozer stayed with the Cavs. Do you think Carlos Boozer was in the wrong for signing the deal with the Utah Jazz? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel to show your support. Thanks for watching.